Welcome, Mataji, Aparna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
Dandavat.
Krishna, thank you. Hari Bol. Dear devotees, welcome. So we'll start chapter 8. Just wanted to give you a quick summary how we are going to flow now from here. So far we finished seventh chapter, and seventh chapter basically talks about 64 limbs of the Bhakti, and then 8 to 12 gives the details about all of those limbs, and then chapter 13 takes 5 of the potent one and then gives more information on that, and then 14 15 talks about raga bhakti, and then 16 17 talks about bhava bhakti, and then 18 and 19 very much prema bhakti, and we are done. So I'm hoping maybe 4 or 5 classes, and then Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu will be done. So today I'm going to finish from chapter 8 to chapter 12, all the verses, all the limbs, and then next class we can talk about 5 potent forms of the devotional service. So as we know, there are 64 limbs of the Bhakti, and out of those 10 are basically do's, and the next 10 are don't, and then it follows from 20 all the way up to 64, and there are multiple items. So what you are expected is that you should be reading Prabhupada's summary essay very carefully, and although it's not mentioned the Sanskrit there, but all of these meaning of that. So you would not find Guru Padasaya or Krishna Diksha Shikshanam or uh, Visrambhena Guru Seva. All of those things you would not find, but you will find, the English translation of it. So likewise, you should be kind of going through it at least to understand what those limbs are. We need to know what those numbers are, what those limbs are. So first 10 is here, which are do's, and then the next 10 which are don'ts. So we basically in chapter 7 we talked about all of those 20 limbs in detail, and we saw the verses which were talking about these limbs in detail. So in chapter 8 we are going to talk about offenses in seva. So deity service or Nam Aparadh. And as all of us know that there are 10 offenses against the holy name. And before we start chanting, we should be chanting those 10 offenses. I am hoping, or I am making a safe assumption that all of you are very well versed with those 10 offenses. If not, then I think you should try to memorize those 10 offenses. So 10 offenses against holy name. And as we talked in last class, that there are different references about offenses against deity worship. But we are going to see list of 32 offenses that happens against deity. So better if we can, somebody can unmute themselves and read so that everybody else can hear. It's very important. We'll just quickly read what those offenses are. At least it will make some sort of print on your, brain, on your mind, and maybe you will kind of remember those. If not, then again, as I said, please read Prabhupada's essays and make yourself familiar to these offenses. Our goal is to not commit these offenses. So who would like to read? Maybe first 10 and then second 10 and then last,
Okay.
12. We can read one by one like that. So just unmute yourself and read.
Entering the Lord's temple in a palanquin or with shoes. Number two, not observing the festival of the deity. Number three, not offering obeisances in front of the Lord. Number four, offering prayers to the Lord in an unclean state or after having eaten without washing properly. Number five, offering respects with one hand. Number six, circumambulating in front of the Lord. Number seven, spreading the legs in front of the deity. Number eight, clasping the hands on the knees in front of the deity. Number nine, laying down in front of the deity. Number 10, eating in front of the deity.
Yeah. So these are the first 10, and you would have noticed that whenever we are trying to, sometimes before COVID, sometimes there will be so many devotees coming on the Sunday feast. So we would close the altar before we start giving the food to the devotee. So eating in front of the deity is also considered offense. And anything here out of this 10 that you picked up, or you have any problem or confusion with that?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhuji, number 6, circumambulating in front of deities. Yeah, that's
It's
little.
around deity, not So so I know what you were asking. So not in front, like back and forth, but around, is recommended.
Okay. Yeah, because we circumambulate around Tulsi
Yeah,
Maharani
yeah.
temples.
यानी कानि जापा पानी बर्मा
Yes.
आदि कानि च तानि तानि प्रणसन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे. We chant also. So 3 times we uh, move around deities, Tulsi Maharani, then three, birth we are done
Yes.
by singing the song Yani Kani Japa Pani Barma Adi Kani Cha Tani Tani Pranasanti Pradikshana Pade Pade. 3 lifetime, no 3 birth needed. So it's very powerful. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
eating in front of deity, is it allowed with drinking water is allowed? Or because normally we give for the speaker water.
Yeah, yeah. Drinking water is allowed, but not gulping. Like, it's like you can pour a little bit. Just stay. The goal here is that staying clean in front of the deity.
Hmm.
Okay, next 11. Who would like to read?
I can go. Prabhu. 11. Telling lies in front of the deity. 12. Speaking loudly in front of the deity. 13. Gossiping in front of the deity. 14. Crying in front of the deity. 15. Quarreling in front of the deity. 16. Fighting in front of the deity. 17. Thanking others in front of the deity. 18. Saying cruel words in front of the deity. 19. Covering oneself with a blanket in front of the deity. 20. Criticizing others in front of the deity.
Yeah, so criticizing in front of the deity. And item number 17, thanking others in front of the deity. So we should also not appreciate too much in front of the deity, because in front of the deity only deity should be appreciated. Mostly the goal is that we come together to appreciate deity. Okay, so telling lies in front of the deity, that's also offense. Speaking too loudly, that's also considered offense. Saying some harsh word to any devotee, that's also considered offense. Okay, the next one.
Yeah, I can read, Prabhuji.
Oh,
21.
Prabhu, 19th one, covering oneself with a blanket. I mean, say
Yeah.
in the winter time, normally we cover with complete thing and stay there. Is it allowed or no?
No, this basically says that, like you are in front of the deity and you cover yourself, You don't, the important thing is that we should see deity. So you just cover yourself, and that is, That's the point being made there.
It's
That
kind
you are
of
in the temple.
ignoring, right, Prabhuji?
It's kind of ignoring, yeah. So you are in the DT room, and DT should be, if you have a chief guest in your room, right, or chief guest, at your house, and then you go in front of that person and cover your face. How does it look? Or even with a spiritual master, if you go in front of the spiritual master and cover our face, so that means it's kind of a way of ignoring, right? Okay.
21. Praising others in front of the deities. Using vulgar languages in front of the deities, passing air in front of the deities, offering less items when capable of offering more, eating food without offering it, not offering seasonal fruits to the deities, offering the deity what is offered already to someone else, sitting with one's back to the deities, addressing others in front of the deities, praising oneself in front of the deities, being silent in front of Guru and criticizing the deities.
So we have seen that some of those that I would like to highlight. So offering less items when capable of offering more. When I was in Dallas, Dallas has a separate kitchen, Radharani kitchen, and only Brahmin gets into the kitchen to cook for the deity. And then there is another kitchen where normally prasadams are, prasadam is being cooked. So there I would see pujari, when they will make the plate, they'll put the rice like dome shape. They'll put the rice and then it will become dome. When they'll put the sabji like that, everything they will be like all the way, on the top of the plate. I didn't understand. I said, why so much of that? But when I read this, I said, oh, it's not basically adequate to offer less when we are capable to offer more. And then another thing about the seasonal fruits, I have seen, like devotees offering seasonal fruits, like mango time offering mango. So I said, that's good, but then I found out that no, there is a reference in the Bhakti Samrita Sindhu that says that we should offer seasonal fruits to the deity. And then also sitting with one's back to the deity. This one we have seen. This happens a lot. So being very careful, okay, not trying to basically, if deity altars are open, then we should try to make sure that we don't do these offenses, especially uh,
But one problem is there, Prabhu, in this.
uh,
Suppose if you are sitting back, if you are sitting straight to the deities, you are showing back to the Prabhupada. Normally in any ISKCON temple, it is like that.
That's why we sit sideways, Prabhu. So so that's why it is always like I have heard in many ISKCON temples, we should always sit sideways so we don't show back to Prabhupada, neither the deities.
but devotee, who have these information, devotee who knows this, they will find a way to deal with it. They will little bit tilt, but new people, they don't understand this and they end up doing it. But normally I have seen people, like in the middle there'll be some area open, and this side devotee, left side devotee, right side devotee. And many temples, they have Prabhupada's deity is basically located at a different place. In Dallas, if you get into the temple room, altar is in your east side, then Prabhupada deity is on the south. In our temple, it's facing in front of the deity. In Chicago also, it's right in front of the deity, but not everywhere. It's kind of a little bit positioned differently also. So whichever way it's positioned, I think that's why we are doing this course, so that we can at least get exposed to this information, and we should try to make sure that we are avoiding some of these offenses. It's very important, also when we are cooking prasadam, being very clean, and when we are offering prasadam, being very clean. uh, those are the, I think, very important point that we should remember.
Prabhu, going back to the items, offering less items, is it what you are saying is the quantity, not the items. The way you explained that you are making a dome and all that, that's the quantity, it's not the items, is it?
Right. So both, Prabhu, basically. Yeah. So items here, basically, you have what you have cooked, right?
Right.
So, so if you have decided that, okay, I'm going to cook 5 items, then you have only 5. But then what you can do, even if with those 5 items, you may like, giving only half plate or keeping, you know, uh, plate or cup open. I have seen that devotee, even sometimes whatever they make, they offer everything. They want to make sure that but you are right. Yeah, it talks about items, but item, uh, we should try to make as many items as we can, but it's not possible also, right?
Right. Right. So that's why I think at
Yeah.
home,
No, it's a good point.
yeah, but bringing it to home, when you're offering at home, then usually it's a small plate really, and then you are putting as much as the plate really accommodates. Obviously you can offer the whole dish or the dishes in front of the deity. So I don't know, I think
No,
that's
if you
the
have a cups or small, cups or
right.
balls, then you can basically use that one. I mean, there is
Okay.
no
Okay.
problem.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious there.
Yeah, yeah.
And one item number 31, being silent in front of the guru, what's that?
Yeah, being silent in front of the guru means is again, not respecting the guru.
Okay.
So, Krishna means he's a devotee also. So, being not respectful to a guru is also considered deity offense, because Krishna says that Acharya Mam Abhijaniya, you see me as acharyas, or you see myself or see me in acharyas. So multiple places it's been given that in fact gurus are direct expansion of Krishna, who have come to save the suffering soul. In fact, a spiritual master is direct, direct expansion of Krishna. Direct. Krishna has taken the personal form to come and save us. Any other item anybody would like to discuss before we move to the next one?
Vijay, I just have little bit like praising others and thanking others. It's little bit same or it's something different. It's point 17 and 21.
Yeah. So thanking is basically in terms of, when somebody has done some good to you, right? In that context, this thanks comes. Somebody has especially, like done something to you specifically. Praising is just somebody's character, somebody behavior, somebody good quality. Prabhu, you are extremely humble. Prabhu, you are so soft spoken. Prabhu, you are expert in Shastra. Prabhu, you are expert in Mridanga playing. That's praising. But thank you for doing it. Or sometimes, like somebody will bring and give you prasadam plate. Thank you for doing it, right? So that's the little distinction there.
So we so
So
generally
Krishna is
yeah, Prabhu. So during like
it
after
happens. I know it happens.
yeah, like we have a class in temple or something. So generally, we give a thank you note to the speaker or something. So is that offense or?
I have seen both side of it. Okay, I have seen in some temple that when they, like I say, vote of thanks, right? Normally, I have seen that when that thing starts, the vote of thanks is basically always the last part of the program, and at that time, altar is closed. So if curtain is closed, then sometimes do, like, remember once we had somebody, it was yours or somebody else, I don't know, so birthday celebration, remember? And then they brought the cake in front of the deity and we cut and all of that, right? So we did that, but I was just thinking, no. This should not have been done. But it's okay, sometimes we do not know some of these things and we end up making the offense.
Yeah, that's what
But
I just remembered
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
day.
But
So
if you
that's
say
why like,
somebody, people will say, why you were saying like that. So it's all, I mean, devotee's mood, right? Slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, these things will get more deeper in our consciousness. But yes, the vote of thanks or even auction that we do, never open altar. Never. I have seen in Dallas temple when they do auction on Janmashtami, close the altar. We don't want to be like $10, $20 in front of the deity. Sakshat Krishna, and we'll talk a little bit more about in chapter 13 this just Krishna. When we are looking at, doesn't matter how nicely he's dressed up or how he is, you know, Krishna says that I just to sour my mercy, I expand as deity. So deity is very, 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 very powerful. And the more we basically advance, six Goswamis deity, they were talking to them, right? Our deity don't, because we are not seeing them as deity. We are not seeing them Sakshat Krishna. So yes, so some of these things should be important, and as slowly and slowly, I mean, these things will uh, become part of our life. But it's very important to be aware, and something wrong happens, at least have that understanding. Oh, and remember many times we say that okay, for this thing we need to get the opinion of a senior devotee. Why? For these reasons. Because some of the things, a senior devotee would know. A person who has, studied Shastra systematically, has, gone through the, years and years of services, they can tell you that please don't do it. But right now the situation is so bad, you can't say anything to anybody. Son and daughters are not ready to listen, right? Recently, Maharaj, he was giving class, His Holiness Najamudra Swami Maharaj, and he was telling in the class that they are very happy to take a spiritual master, but they're not ready to listen. So spiritual master is talking about disciple, that disciple are not ready to listen. And he said that once he tried to chastise one of the disciple, and disciple came after him. Maharaj was accepting, he was giving class in Chapati temple. I was hearing the class. So that's what it is, we have to also find out a way to deal with person. But maybe somebody can say, Prabhu, then when you make the announcement, why do you don't we close the altar? I mean, normally we don't. But standard practice is that we should close the altar. Aarti, as soon as Aarti is done, if we are, like for example, doing Kirtan, every time, when devotee will do Kirtan, I would say, don't play Mridanga like this. I got so much criticism. You are trying to be boss, you are ruling over it. I say, it's not about being boss. When we are chanting in front of the deity, we are basically offering it like prasadam as we offer to Krishna. This chanting is being offered to Krishna. But how people will learn? People should practice at their home. You practice Kartal, Mridanga, Shing, learn, but not in front of like deity who are you know who have gone through the pran pratishtha, Sakshat Bhagwan. But what you can do, we have to. I mean, what we can do. So, but it's all okay overall. The intent is good, the mood is good, but at the same time, back of the mind, some of these techniques, we have to know. Okay. Then item number 20 in the list that we just saw. So what we will do is that we are going through chapter 8. Some of the key, limbs, we'll just, a little bit talk more about that. So item number 20 basically says, Tan Ninda Adi Asahi Sunuta. If somebody is blaspheming the devotee, we should not be basically hearing it. We should not be tolerating it. What happens? Three ways to deal with the blasphemy. If somebody is blaspheming about somebody else, first thing is that we should be strong enough to defeat the blasphemer. You can't say like that. Or if there is some blasphemy, doesn't mean criticizing a person. Maybe somebody can blaspheme the deity, or maybe do the blaspheming about Shastra. Oh, or in ISKCON you do like that. It's not a standard, something like that. One of our practice. So one should be competent to defeat, and that's why Shastric study is very important. Very important that you can say what you were talking about. I can show in Bhakti Samrita Sindhu. He says that you cannot back up. You cannot put your back, in front of the deity. So if you try to help somebody, Prabhu, don't put your front. Oh, it's okay. Oh, I can do it. No, you cannot do it because Bhakti Samhita Sindhu says that you cannot do it. So having sufficient information to defeat or give up this life, this is a big thing. And that has happened when Sati, when Lord Shiva was blasphemed by Daksha and his associate, then Mother Sati, she basically burned herself. She gave up, her body. Or the easiest thing is that leave the place. So these are the three things we should try to do when we are hearing the blasphemy. Now, uh, maybe we have to also understand when it's blasphemy and when it's correction. So somebody who has adhikar, like for example, temple president or somebody who is head of a particular service, that person if says that don't do like that, it's not blasphemy. Okay, temple president Srila Prabhupada has empowered temple president that everybody should be obedient and listening to the temple president. That's what Prabhupada expectation is. Prabhupada said that the one who says that believe in me but don't believe in my setup, then literally they are not believing in me. Please listen it very carefully. And we gone through that in disciple course. There are people who say that, oh, I believe in Prabhupada, or I would do whatever Prabhupada has asked us to do. But Prabhupada has set up a system, hierarchy system. Okay, GBC, then general secretary, then temple president, and then temple president, other small leaders. Then under that, whatever the hierarchy has, we should be very very obedient to hierarchy. And if somebody is on the higher on the hierarchy, if somebody is saying something, that's not blasphemy. But without any motivation, if somebody is trying to help someone, it's not blasphemy. But if somebody is just criticizing to put somebody down, then that's blasphemy, and we should not be basically hearing. And then the 35 one is submissive appeals, okay, in front of the deity. This is very important. I thought I wanted to highlight this. So there are three ways we can put our appeals to the deity. Okay, the first one is called samprarthanatmika. So samprarthanatmika is basically putting the prayers, filling the offering. Like we say, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Koro Moro. My dear Lord, please, be merciful upon me, right? So we are putting the prayers in front of the deity. So this Natmika songs, there are many songs or many, ways we can put our prayers. My dear Lord, please forgive my offenses, or if I have done some offenses, please forgive me. Prabhu Tava Pada Juge Mera Nivadana. Na Mani, Na Mangi. This is the song. Prabhu Tava Pada Yuge Mora Nivedana. Na Mangi Dhana Jana. I don't want any dhan or jana, or I don't want anything for dehshuka, for my personal, benefit. So some of those type of, prayers that we do in front of the deity for our personal advancement, it comes under some prarthanatmika, expression of our love. And then the second one is daniya bodhika, like feeling very, 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 very humble and incompetent. That's also way of expressing our devotion. And there is one song, it says Amar Jivan Sada Pape Rate. This is a song that says that, my dear Lord, my whole life is only sinful. Everything that I have done in my life is sinful. I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to respect devotee. I don't know how to honor prasadam. My dear Lord, I am so sinful. I'm so fortunate that I have a fortune to associate with your devotee, but I don't see their value. I see their, a demerit. I have a mood to criticize them rather serving them. My dear Lord, I am so sinful. When I see your prasad, it just appeared to me as a food. It doesn't appear to me that it's your mercy. So feeling very, very, uh, uh, dania, very, very, kind of fallen. My dear Lord, I have no qualification. And this is one of the, way we offer our appeals, our devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the third one is Lalsamai. This Lalsamai is basically a very advanced stage where we express our longing to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That, and there are songs like ए मोरा अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो बास नयन हरिबो सदा जुगल रूपरासी. This is my abhilash, this is my desire. ए मोरा अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो बास. So my desire is that I should be basically living in Golok Vrindavan. Nayan Haribo Sada Jugala Ruparasi. And with my eyes, I should be seeing Jugala Ruparasi, Sri Radha and Krishna. So this is desire. This is longing, right? Radha Krishna Pran More Jugala Kishore. That's also, Lalsa Mai song. So our acharyas have written many songs. Some of those, falls under first category, some of those under second, and some of those under third category. Should we sing? Yes, we should sing, some Prathanatmika types of song, Dania types of song, and Lalsamai types of song. It's very important. It's very important that even if you don't know how to sing, still we should sing some of the songs, written in this mood, because that's how we can express our mood. We are expressing our mood. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More. See, my dear Lord, please, do mercy on me. You cannot find anybody more offensive than me. There is nobody in this material world who is more offensive than me. So these are some of the way. In one song, maybe one or two paragraph will be Danya Bodhika, maybe one or two paragraph will be some Prathanatmika, or maybe one or two will be talking about Lalsamai, or maybe the entire song will be Lalsamai, or the entire song will be Danya Bodhika. So this is the way we can express our feeling to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so that's how we wrap up with chapter 8. Then in chapter 9, again we have a series of limbs from 21 to 42 mentioned. So you can go through chapter 9 and you can basically read those by yourself. This is homework for you to make sure that you read those. And then in chapter 10, it talks about teachings and hearing, teachings, techniques of hearing and remembering of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how we can hear more and how we can remember. And that talks about Sarvanam, Tat Kripa Ikshanam, Asmritir, and Dhyanam. Always trying to, remember Krishna. So in chapter 10, Prabhupada has given a lot of information about these 4 items. We'll just talk some of those. So 43 talks about Sarvanam, hearing. And there are 3 types of hearing. Hearing doesn't mean only holy name. Hearing also means Charitra Sarvanam. Okay, Nam Sarvanam, hearing the holy name, and then Charitra Sarvanam, Charitra, hearing the Lord's pastime, and Guna Sarvanam, hearing the qualities of the Lord. Holy name hearing, when we are doing, most of us like this, right? Or when devotees are giving class, or when somebody is giving class, oh, it's too late. Too late. I have, can we start serving prasadam? No taste for hearing the class, right? You would see that, but no, hearing the class also under the association of a bona fide, devotee, hearing the class is as good as hearing the holy name. Okay, so sadhu sangha, under association of a saintly person, hearing holy name and hearing Lord's pastime mentioned, in Krishna books and other places in Srimad Bhagavatam, and also talking about Lord's quality, All of these three are Sarvanam. So we should try to have equal taste for all of these three items. And then Dhyanam, meditation on the Lord, Rup Dhyanam, appreciating the deity. Wow, today Krishna Balaram is dressed up so nicely. Nitai Gaur Nataraj is dressed up so nicely. They look so brilliant, so fine, like that, appreciating, or Krishna's paintings or his forms. All of that is devotion. The more devotion we have, the more we can see the beauty in the forms of Krishna. So having, uh, desire to appreciate Lord's form, guna, his quality, how powerful the Lord is. Even Putna wanted to give him poison, but he gave her Vaikuntha. All the demons wanted to kill Lord, but Lord, gave everybody liberation. Kira Dhyanam, Lord's pastime. How nicely Krishna was playing with his cowherd boy, friends, and uh, um, running behind the cows and doing all the pastime in the forest of Vrindavan. And then Seva Dhyanam, meditating on the Krishna's service. And Prabhupada has mentioned this pastime that a Brahman, on his meditation, he wanted to offer sweet rice. And then once, he thought that, let me make sure that the rice is hot or not. And then he put his finger, and he's meditating everything. Everything is happening in his meditation. And as he, put his hand, whoo, his finger got burned. Okay, so what that tells? It tells that even through meditation, maybe, quality of our serving items that we are serving might be not of our high quality, but our desire of serving can be of the very high quality. So when we try to do some service, people say, you always feel very happy, you feel always enthusiastic. Yes, enthusiasm is what we are offering. We are getting, all these are the mediums. Prasadam and anything else are basically the means. But what we do is that we take some means and put our love on top of it, and then offer with our love. Krishna is not basically too happy. The pastime, right? That Lord preferred to eat banana peel at Vidur house rather than having chappan bhoga at Rasu Yagya, right? So you can see Lord is not, or Lord Ramchand loved the berry that was tasted by, what's the name of that lady?
Sabri.
Yeah, savory. He felt, oh, it's so tasty. So Lord basically is taking the love, whatever means we use. So even class, lecture, teaching, you know, we we do it with our love. Okay, and that's what it is. And everything, as a teacher, as a student, as a cook, as a server, as a being devotee serve, every way we get benefited if the mood is right. That's why Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is very important. So even we can't offer a good quality food, but we can offer our high quality love with that food, and we'll get the equally benefit. So Dhyanam. And then chapter 11 talks about aspects of transcendental services, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, and Nija Priyo Paharanam, Tad Arthe Akhila Chestam, and Sarnapatihi, surrender to the Lord, and Tadyanam Chasevanam. Tadyanam refers to Srimati Tulsi Maharani, serving the Tulsi Maharani. So then again, it continues talking in chapter 12, more aspects of the transcendental services. So I request all of you to read. It's mostly essay format. So all of you please read. And basically in chapter 11, you will hear Prabhupada talking about from 47 to 53 limbs of the devotional service. And in chapter 12, you will hear from 54 to 64. Okay, so that's how you will be getting done with chapter 12. Let us see some of the item that is mentioned in chapter 12. So Dasyam, 47 limb is talking about Dasyam, acting as servant of the Lord. That's very important. Okay, And Dasyam can be done in two way. Okay, karma arpanam and Kankariyam. So karma arpanam, I'm sure just by hearing the word, you would know what exactly it means. Karma arpanam means offering, our action, such as uh, devotional activities, chanting and hearing. Okay, or also we can offer results of our action. Okay, that's also called karma arpanam. So offering through our actions such as japa, dhyana, and taking part in deity worship, archanam. That way we can do the offering, or we can offer the results of our activity. The second one is that offering the auspicious among the prescribed action without firm faith in the Uttama Bhakti. Okay, so you would see that happening a lot. The second one, you would see a lot happening in the family of Hindu. Okay, they not necessarily they would have firm faith in bhakti or utma bhakti, but they do like going to dwarika, they do like going to brindavan, they would go to puri. Okay, so not necessarily they are doing things, or they will take some good items to offer to the deity, not necessarily for the sake of Utma Bhakti, but Lord is so powerful, so kind, that even if somebody approach not even knowing the Bhakti, they will end up becoming a devotee. Okay, so slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, here and there, here and there, here and there, and doing little here, little there, not even knowing that I am preparing myself to be Uttama Bhakti. Krishna will you know give little bit whatever taste we have, that taste slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly will lead us to this point. So thing here is that even in worse situation, Krishna can make us devotee, and even in a best situation, Krishna can make us devotee. Krishna can make us devotee in both situations. Okay, in every situation, a poor can be a perfect devotee, because if one wants to do devotional service in that stage, then Krishna will present that person, put that person in that stage to do bhakti. If one want to do bhakti in very opulent way, Krishna will put that person in that stage. But in any situation, Krishna will engage one uh, in bhakti. But before one will come to Uttama Bhakti, that person might be doing some activity, some offering to the Lord, not knowing that Uttama Bhakti is goal, but slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, it will lead. It will lead to the stage when one will start aspiring for pure devotional service. That's the process. That's the process. You have, if you do pious karma, you get the good result. If you do bad karma, you get the bad result. And if you are engaged in the auspicious activity, especially in the activity which is related to Rama, Krishna, here you go. Doesn't matter how you are doing, the Lord will see it. And he'll note, okay, so you came one day and just put one tulsi leaf. And then you say, I know you have some good expression, my dear Lord, I just want to offer. Right there, Krishna will say, okay, so I'll give you more taste. And then that taste will develop. So resistance, everybody has some resistance. Okay, and the simple example is that if you try to pass the electricity through insulator, it would not pass. Take a dry wood and connect electrode and cathode, and let's see the electricity go through it. It's not going to get through it. But you just take the conductor right away, it will start passing through it. So that's what devotional service is. Okay, we are at some point more of a dry wood, lot of resistance, and not seeing the importance of the bhakti, jena tena prakarena, everything is good, everything is right, but we don't know that slowly and slowly we are rubbing it off. Chetodrapna marjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam sirhakairava chandrikavitarnam vidyavatu jivanam. We are rubbing it off, and with that rubbing, we are basically, insulator, and then we become dielectric. Okay, so insulator would never let the electricity go through it. Dielectric is the property of a material where it will not let electricity go through under some current. But once you put higher voltage, very high current, then it will let it go through it. And conductor, any current will pass through it. Okay, so the goal of us is that we become pure conductor. Any form, anything that we see around, we see Krishna's presence there, right? Kanistadikari, Madhmadikari, and Utmadikari. Kanistadikari can't see Krishna except in the temple, only on the altar. But Madhmadikari can see, but not, he can't convince others. But Utmadikari can see Krishna everywhere, and he can convince everyone also that Krishna is everywhere. Prabhupada. He was seeing Krishna everywhere. Okay, no distinction. If the Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the whole family is my, the whole world is my family. So resistance. If we have some issues, if I have problem humbling myself, if I have problem accepting somebody's superiority, that means I have still some resistance, not being able to fall down completely. And here is another thing. Look into your heart and see if you can just appreciate someone 20 minutes. Just see, can you do that? Can you find thousands of reasons to just appreciate? Like, just take the example of one of the devotee. Let's take Deepika Mataji. She does a lot of cooking. Can we just appreciate her for the cooking? Let's try to do that. Let's try to just appreciate. Pour your appreciation, my dear devotee. This is not going to happen unless and until you feel some real connection with that person. So try to appreciate. By appreciating, your resistance will decrease. By appreciating, you'll be able to bow yourself down. So appreciation is very, very important. And then this is another important way to express our Dasya mood is Kankariyam, right? Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one of his songs says that I am your Kinkara. I'm your fallen, servant. Okay. When we write your servant, we just write your servant. But how to really understand that whoever are the devotee had chanted the name of Krishna even once, they all are my master and I am their servant. That type of these are the real practical Krishna consciousness. Okay, and I can see the devotee who does more of that, you will see that the devotee loves them a lot. They love them a lot. Like some of the sannyasis, they love everybody. Everybody loved them. In my spiritual master, His Holiness Sadhana Swami Maharaj, I would hear his Vyas Puja, and all the his disciple from Govardhaniko village or Chapati, talks about Maharaj's quality, and I would be saying that, I would be making note of that. And in fact, one of the items that I have written is that trying to cultivate the similar quality as my spiritual master. Maharaj's mood, how he behaves, he would never find any, problem in anybody. He encourages everybody. Doesn't matter whatever. Everybody, he will try to help them come to Krishna conscious. And see how many people, left, right, in, out. Maharaj is making devotee like everywhere, anywhere. So that's what it is. So once we have that good quality, Krishna will empower us. Okay, the empowerment will come from Krishna and everybody will love us. People say that it's not possible, it's possible. Yeah, there will be some here and there, but 80% people will be loving you. If somebody is having any problem with me, it's me, not that person. Still somebody is able to see problem in me. That means I still have that problem. So what's the problem accepting it? Okay, so Kankariyam Bhav is basically, I wanted to tell this thing to just make the point that coming to that stage, that being very, very submissive to devotees, Hare Krishna. Sometimes we have to chastise if we are in that position, but even with that chastisement, we know that we are serving. Okay, so these are the basically two types of dasyam. And then atma nivedanam, offering oneself to the Lord. Atma refers to three things: the soul, soul is also atma, the body, the physical body is also atma, and the mind is also atma. So when we say that I'm surrendered to Krishna, the soul, body, and mind should be surrendered to Krishna. So soul, hard, unless and until mind and body is not surrendered, the soul cannot be surrendered, right? So we know, just to give you some idea, that we have a gross senses, right? And then after gross sense, there are subtle senses, right? And higher than subtle senses are mind. Okay, so the gross senses and subtle senses, if you don't have control on the gross and subtle senses, mind cannot be controlled. So if you want to control the mind, then you have to control the gross and subtle senses, which means association of the devotee, hearing pastime of the Lord, eating always, offered prasadam, trying to associate with good people, not with bad people. So these are, something that we can do. And if we do that, then slowly and slowly, mind will be purified. Then intelligence will be purified, right? Then soul. So unless and until mind and intelligence is not purified, soul cannot be purified. So first body has to be purified, right? Always trying to be in a nice get up. We have tulsi, put it at 12 places, the chandan, not only on your forehead, okay? You should have four hair, two hair, put, tilak all over the place. I don't see devotee doing that, okay? Get up in the morning, take shower, right after shower, go to your mirror and, put chandan 12 places, okay? And Om Keswaya Nama, Om Madhvaya Nama, Om Narayana Nama, all the songs, and in all the, and do it, okay? So make the body pure, keep the body, it's temple, keep it clean, tulsi mala all the time, and chandan. Most of the time you should have the chandan, except, somewhere where we are not in a devotee association. So body we have to purify, and then by acting on that, slowly and slowly, mind will start purifying. And then when mind will start purifying, then soul will be purified. So when mind, body and soul, all these three are purified, then our surrender is going to be complete to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so our goal is basically to slowly and slowly surrender ourselves. So we finished up to chapter 12. Okay, 8 9 10 11 12, you can read all those essays. Please read by yourself. Then 13 and 14 I'm going to complete in one class, which is going to talk about raga bhakti. Okay, and sorry, 5 potent form of devotional service. 13 and 14 is going to talk about just the 5 potent form, and then 15 and 16 is going to talk about raga bhakti, spontaneous devotional service. So 15 and 16 in one class we can talk, and then 17 and 18 is going to talk about bhava bhakti. Okay, and then chapter 19 will talk about pure pure love, prema bhakti. So I'm expecting that it should be like 4 classes. It might be 5 class, but by 4 or 5 classes we should be wrapping up Nectar of Devotion, and then we can go through, make a quick kind of summary, and then if you all want, we can maybe take 1 or 2 week, if you like, to just kind of summarize the every key highlights of the Bhakti Samrita, and then you all should be ready to give the exam. Okay, so with that I would like to conclude here and see if there is any questions or anybody has any input.
I have a question, Prabhu.
Hari, yes, Prabhuji.
So your Rath Yatra is on July 9th, right? So we won't have class?
Yeah, 9th July we won't have class, and also 2nd July most likely I have some other commitment in the morning, but I should be back by noon or so. But in case if I'm not, then I'll let you all know. But for now, let's plan. Except 9th July, we'll have classes on every Saturday. Yeah. Okay, good. Anything else? Are you all learning anything or not?
Very beautiful class,